The carriage rolled through the gates of the Eller Duchy, where the Duchess, Alan, Rhea, and Dinah had gathered near the entrance to welcome both the honored guest and the young Duke's arrival. As the carriage came to a stop, Ascart was the first to step down. Wearing a warm smile, he greeted everyone waiting for him before presenting the Duchess with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Although the Duchess graciously remarked that such a gift had not been necessary, Ascart explained that he could never arrive empty-handed when visiting her. Behind them, the maids could barely contain their excitement. The moment they laid eyes on the handsome young Grand Duke, they watched him with admiration, their expressions overflowing with affection. Not wanting to be left out, Dinah eagerly reminded him about her own gift. Ascart laughed softly before handing her a present as well, instantly filling the little girl's face with delight. Alan could not resist teasing him, joking that his older brother was quite the flirt. Then Ascart's attention shifted to Rhea. He stepped toward her and presented her with a bouquet of delicate pink roses. The flowers immediately caught everyone's attention. Dana happily pointed out that the roses looked just like Rhea, but the instant the words left her mouth, she realized she had revealed something she had meant to keep secret. Startled, she quickly covered her mouth with both hands, embarrassed that she had let the secret slip. Rhea simply smiled at Dinah's innocent reaction before gently patting her head. Holding the bouquet carefully in her hands, she expressed her heartfelt gratitude to Ascart, admitting that it was the very first time anyone had ever given her flowers as a gift. As everyone admired the flowers, the Duchess turned her attention to Ascart with a note of concern. Since the Marquess's estate had been unoccupied for such a long time, she wondered whether it would be uncomfortable for him to stay there immediately after arriving. Ascart reassured her that there was nothing to worry about. Servants had already been maintaining the residence, so he would have no trouble settling in. He also thanked the Duchess for her thoughtful concern. The conversation soon returned to the bouquet in Rhea's hands. Ascart admitted that he had not known what kind of flowers she liked, so he had simply chosen the ones that appealed to him the most. He quietly asked whether she liked them. Rhea answered honestly. She loved them. She confessed that she had never really thought much about flowers before, but from that moment onward, pink roses had become her favorite. Hearing that made Ascart smile. He immediately invited her to visit the Diafel Marquisate estate someday. He explained that there was a greenhouse there where pink roses bloomed throughout all 4 seasons. The estate was not far from the Eller Duchy at all, it stood directly across the street. As Rhea listened, she quietly reflected that people often said the Grand Duchess and the Duke had been childhood friends. Living so close to one another had probably played a part in that bond. Ascart noticed that Rhea had gone quiet and wondered if she did not like the idea. Caught off guard, Rhea blinked in surprise. Mistaking her silence, Ascart looked slightly dejected as he softly remarked that the roses really were beautiful. The sight of his disappointed expression startled Rhea, leaving her wondering how she should respond. Before the awkward silence could linger any longer, the Duchess gently called out to Ascart. She reminded him that the Marquess would be arriving soon and worried that delaying any longer might become an inconvenience. The mention of the Marquess immediately caught Rhea's attention. A memory from her previous life resurfaced. Back when she had managed the cafe that secretly served as Terentium's headquarters, the Marquess had been the one noble who visited regularly. Among all the nobles she had known in her past life, he was the only one she had been close to. Without thinking, Rhea quickly raised her hand and eagerly accepted Ascart's invitation, asking if she could visit the rose garden. The sadness instantly disappeared from Ascart's face, replaced by a bright smile. He happily told her that she was welcome to come any time, whether she came together with Dana or even by herself. Seeing everything settled, the Duchess remarked that lunch was probably ready and suggested they head inside. Ascart readily agreed, and the group began walking toward the mansion together. As Rhea followed behind, however, another thought occupied her mind. She had been feeling it for quite some time now. Lucio. For some reason, throughout the entire exchange, he had done nothing but watch her. His unwavering gaze was impossible to ignore, and she could almost feel it piercing into her from behind. Inside Lucio's library, a quiet afternoon settled over the room. Ascart sat comfortably on the sofa, unable to hide a long yawn. Without looking up from the book in his hands, Lucio calmly suggested that if Ascart was tired, he should simply return and get some rest. Ascart refused the idea. The Duchess had personally invited him to remain until dinner, and leaving early would only be discourteous. When Lucio questioned whether forcing himself to stay was any more polite, Ascard insisted he was not overexerting himself, he was only feeling a little tired. Lucio then recalled that Ascard had returned straight to the academy dormitory the previous day. With a faint smile, Ascard admitted that he had gone to bed early, yet sleep never came. Although he had finished packing and prepared to rest, the thought of seeing Ria's smile again kept his heart racing. He found it strange, confessing that he had never considered a child especially adorable before, yet now he could not stop thinking about her. Lucio quietly listened without interrupting. Ascard went on to admit that he wanted to bring Ria back with him. He sincerely believed he could give her a wonderful life and treat her with the utmost care. The moment those words were spoken, Lucio silently set his teacup down with enough force for the sound to echo through the room. The sudden noise caught Ascard's attention. Noticing Lucio's unusual reaction, he wondered if Lucio himself might also be tired. Lucio offered no explanation. Instead, he calmly changed the subject by asking whether Ascard planned to return to the Grand Duchy immediately after the graduation ceremony. Ascard confirmed that he would. Since his parents were coming to visit, he could not remain away from the Grand Duchy for very long. Hearing that, Lucio quietly remarked that he wished they would arrive soon. Ascard simply clenched his fist in agreement. Far away, across the open sea, a massive ship continued sailing over the endless waters. The pink-haired Grand Duchess struggled with severe seasickness. She covered her mouth, looking as though she might become ill at any moment. Watching her with growing concern, the Grand Duke gently suggested using the teleportation circle that had been installed inside their carriage. He urged her to travel directly to the Grand Duke's castle instead of enduring the voyage any longer. The Duchess stubbornly refused. Her answer came without hesitation. She had no intention of returning. The Grand Duke could only look at her with a mixture of sadness and worry as she firmly declared that she would not go back.